I'm gonna cry just a little bit.
You say you're gonna cry?
Just a little bit. No, it's okay. It's just like it's
because we would sit there like this, like, yo, this lady is amazing. She would sing with her heart out.
She was really talented.
Yeah, and I was there, and I would put money in her.
Yeah. That memory that he's having, what did that invoke in you?
Well, my mom died in March.
Yeah.
So we retired her some time ago. She got sick and she wasn't able to do it anymore. But that is what, that's part of her legacy. It's part of her legacy.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
so
Did
you ever go with her when she
what? The thing about having a mom is that's just noise. And people would be like, oh, your mom has such a beautiful voice. And I know, and I acknowledge that, but that's just mom noise to me, and I didn't sometimes we'd have to go to work with her, like when we were little kids, because we couldn't be in the house alone. Yeah. So she was a teacher with the Board of Ed, and she went on sabbatical and became a subway singer, and she made more money doing that. And so we were little kids, and she would pick us up from school. She worked at my school. She was a teacher at my school. So we would go from my school to the subway and to sit and watch her for hours.
That's the lumpkin.
And it was like,
that's the lumpkin lady.
Yeah. And she also she did America's Got Talent. Flow Rider song, Get a Good Feeling. What
was that? Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
Sometimes I get a good feeling. There's two versions. There's Etta James with the more popular version.
And she would do that.
Yeah.
I would walk past, because sometimes,
and now it's my son's favorite song.
You would have to get registered when you have your banner.
Yeah.
You get a banner for street musicians.
For Music Under New York.
New York. So you'd have a banner, and I'd walk, because there's so many different people that I would see all the time. And I walk past, and I see her like just singing, and everyone's around. And I go, I put some money.
Big crowds.
Does that that's got to warm your heart that you can know that your mother's work. Years later, you'd be, sitting here and talking to Godfrey and go, yo, your mom impacted me in such a way. You talked about your son having his favorite song from your mom. What's your favorite song that your mom sang?
I really don't have one. I really don't have one. I love the thing. My mom was talented. And there's enough of her left here on earth. Yeah. No one ever really dies. And it's really beautiful to see my son my son, they're 21 months old. They are really young, but they are advanced, so they know a lot of words. And my son knows more music. He knows so many songs, and he requests them. And that's just my mom. And everyone in my family sings. And so my mom was just like, my mom was definitely a superstar, and my my mom was definitely a narcissist. She knew that she would be impactful to you.
When they think these street musicians or whatever are like homeless people trying to.
Yeah, no. Real, it's an organization.
It's an organization. You have to have a registered for that space, for that time.
You're licensed.
Yeah, and I had friends, my other buddy, Josh Sticks, who's a Nigerian, he plays reggae. He's registered. And man, I was like this. As soon as you opened your mouth, I said, "It's the lady." I already knew who it was. I was like, I seen her. I've been to New York. I got to New York in '97.
Yeah.
So I used to be like, "Oh, there goes that lady again." And I hear it, and everyone's like, "Woo!" And I go, "Let me drop some money." I drop some money real quick, and I'm out.
Thank you.
Sometimes
I probably bought us dinner.
You said what?
Thanks. Yeah.
But the fact that I rode the train, because I can't ride a train anymore because I get bumped. It's just what it is. But I'm a train ride, and I lived in the Bronx.
Okay.
I lived in Harlem for 6 years. I lived in Williamsburg. I lived in the Upper West Side. Viola Davis was my first roommate.
Oh, fun.
100 in West End when she was at Juilliard.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been all over New York City, lived all over New York. Yeah. I lived by the Rucker. I lived everywhere. And I saw her, man.
That's so cool. And,
Dang.
There are other powerful women in your family, because your auntie, Dorothy Pittman Hughes, she was a feminist activist.
That's great.
What was that experience like? Your mom, having your mom, and then having your auntie. What did they instill in you?
Well, when my mom left my dad, we moved in with my aunt. Okay. And we lived there for, I think, 2 years. And that was not a great time. It really wasn't. Yeah. But my family is weirdly all women too. Like, it's a lot. We have very few men. My mom was 7 girls and 2 boys. Ooh. 9 kids, seven of them girls. And then the way it works in my family is you have to have 3 girls to have a boy. So all of my aunts would have either had 3 girls or they had 4 kids because they had 3 girls and 1 boy. We have very few boys. Wow. And my grandmother Madeira was she was a powerful lady. Like Gloria Steinem wrote about her, and it was like a
Gloria Steinem.
Yeah. So that's how my aunt. Do you know the photo of Gloria Steinem?
You were like this with the afro?
Yeah. The black woman is my aunt.
That's out of here.
Yeah. And
that's
again,
one famous photo.
Yeah, I'm truly from a family full of narcissists. No one is surprised. Like no one, everybody's like, you goddamn right. And she died too. Yeah. So they're both up there like, you goddamn tell them about Mary and Roger too. Like they're
crazy. How much of that influence had to do with, because I want to go back to like
how I got on
making that transition from the phone operator to then going into Precious, like, because nowhere were you going to acting school or anything like that, right?
Yeah, so here's the story, and the reason why I mentioned my mom in the first place is because so my whole life, it's been, you're so funny. We'd be at my uncle's house and I would get up and do 10 minutes. Yeah. Like for whatever reason, I would just, and like everybody would be laughing and they'd still talk about it. Yeah. And my mom would be like, you should write a book. You could be funny. You could be Raven Simone. Now I hate Raven Simone. But like, she'd be like, you can do that, goddamn it. We could be millionaires.
We could be.
It's always we.
It's all about.
I ain't up here telling y'all no lies at all. These ain't even jokes. But it was always you could do, and I don't know that I believe that I was talented. And even if I did believe I was talented, my mom is really, really talented. Yeah. But my mom sang in the subway for all of my life. And we slept once we left my aunt's house, we had a studio apartment, her, my brother, and I, and we slept on a bunk bed, the 3 of us, for 5 years. Wow. And so I learned that talent might be talent, but talent doesn't pay the bills. Talent is not comfortable. Talent is not something I felt like I could afford to chase, right? Wow. Follow me.
Yes.
So I grew up wanting to be, I was fine with being the funniest person at my office. Right. Like I wanted to be a psychologist so I could make money, so I could do something interesting and make a life and have a door to close, because those 5 years on that bunk bed with my mom and my brother in one room really, really, really shaped me more than anything. Right. I just wanted to have a home and a door to close between me and the rest of the world. Right. So finally, we're in a bigger apartment, whatever, and I'm going to college. I'm doing phone sex. I'm just trying to build to my life. I'm just trying to get to my life. At some point in college, my mom tells me, hey, some director walked up on me in the subway and said, I want you to audition for my movie. The director was Susan Batson. The movie... Susan
Batson? Black Nexus, acting teacher. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Susan Batson wanted her to audition for this movie, but she didn't want to audition. She didn't want to do it. And I was like, why? I'm 19. I was like, why would you not audition for this movie? And she said, well, it's based on a book, and in the book, she wants me to audition for the...
Is it I read Push by Sapphire. I read that book.
So she said she wants me to audition for the mother, and the mother's abusive to her daughter. And I don't want... My mom was a teacher, again, my mom was a teacher for 20 years. She said, I don't want anyone to think that this is who I am. And I'm like, well, you're an actor. Like, if you'd be an actor. And she's like, well, read the book so you can understand why I don't want to do it. I read the book. We were in a fight about it. And I was like, I get it, but you should still do this. Like, what's the point of you singing in the subway if it's not to get someplace that gets you out of the subway? That's the point, right? And she said, no, I'm not going to do it. I just feel like, maybe Monique should do it. 5 years later, now I'm 24. I'm doing phone sex. She doesn't know. I'm still living, in essentially her apartment, but she and I are splitting the rent. And someone I had done some theater. I did some theater at a school that I didn't even go to. My best friend went there and I was just hanging out, just chilling. I was just chilling. I just be chilling sometimes. Just be chilling. And just be chilling.
Hey, you want to do a play?
I'd be like, all right, whatever. Yeah. I got time. So a friend that I had done some plays with called me and said, hey, this movie is coming to audition and they're looking for girls like you.
Gotcha.
Fat black girls. So, and I was like, oh, I'm one of them. And I was like, but I literally just got into school. I literally had finally gotten, to the age where I can use my own tax return. I can get back into college with financial aid. It was literally week 1, my first week back in school.
Wow.
And I get called for some audition that didn't make any sense. I wasn't an actor. And I was like, maybe. And so I called my mom, who happened to be she was out of town singing someplace. And I said, hey, is that book still in the house? Because it was for the same thing. And it was a different director this time. It was Lee Daniels. And who I didn't know. And she said, yeah, the book is go find it. And I reread the book. I didn't reread the book. I read one page. I read the first page. And then I went, I left. I had a class. It was my first day of this class. And the audition was uptown in the Bronx at Lehman College.
Damn.
And the audition was downtown on like the Lower East Side or something, in Soho. That's where it was,
ride,
in Soho.
baby.
And so I leave my house on 135th and I don't know where I'm going. I'm planning to go to school. I'm planning to go to school. You know what I mean? I'm planning to go to
City College? Were you
No, I
135th?
wasn't at City College at the time. I failed out of City College. At this time, I was at Mercy College.
Okay.
Which was
That's a good college to go to after you failed. Mercy.
Well,
College.
it was across the street from the phone sexery. And so it was local. I was like, oh, I can go to. It was on. It was turned on. I was really thinking, I was really in that.
It was right there.
It was right across the street. So I was gonna go to school, but the school was on the downtown side of the street, right?
Yeah.
On the downtown side of the street, there is a movie filming. American Gangster is filming.
Denzel Washington, yeah.
Yes. Now, I've never been on a movie set. I don't know how it works. I try to walk through because this is where my subway's at. And I try to walk through, and this guy in this like brown leather, I can see him so clearly. Black guy, afro, because he was, a background actor or something.
Yeah.
And smiled, and he said, hey, sis, do you mind just crossing the street because we're filming here? And I said, cross the street? And like to this day, if there's something shooting in my neighborhood, I'd be like, go home, Hollywood. I'm just like that. And so, but he was like, yeah, if you could just, because he was so nice, I said, okay. And I had to cross to the uptown side. Yeah. Because I was there, I went up to that audition. And within an hour of doing that audition, I got a call for the callback. No. The callback was the next day.
So had he not told you to go, you would have been going off.
I'd be the funniest person in somebody's office right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And so then the next day, my mom did come home, and they gave me the longer script. They gave me a longer script to audition with. Yeah. And it's a scene where she tells her class that she has HIV, and she screams, and like she cries and blah, blah, I'm tired, Miss Brain, I'm tired. Yeah. And so I learn it. And then right before I left out, I said, hey Mom, can you just watch this real quick? Watch me do this? And she was like, okay. And I did the scene for her and she started crying. And I was like, okay. And I went down there and I did the audition, and within half an hour of leaving, I got a call to meet the director the next day. Lee Daniels. Wow. I went and I was like, they gave me the whole script in. I was like, do I memorize this whole script? What the fuck? I don't know. I was ready though. I was like, whatever they gonna want. And I went into his office and he just talked to me for like half an hour or something, and then he said, I want you to be in my movie. And I was like, to hold lights, or like, what would you like? And he said, no, I want you to be Precious. And it was like, boom. Great.
That's another 154 conversation in the books. We are bridging culture back to its roots.
From Africa to the world, we're telling stories our way.
So make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share your voice in the comments. This is 154.